I stood on the sidewalk outside Maison Monroe, watching through the floor-to-ceiling windows as Manhattan's elite mingled at my sister-in-law's restaurant opening. The Chanel-clad hostess who had just escorted me out was now apologizing profusely to Monica, who had spotted me trying to enter her establishment. "Mrs. Chen." Jacob, my financial advisor, pulled up in his Tesla. I saw what happened. "Should I remind Mrs. Monroe who actually owns this building?" "Not yet," I said, sliding into the passenger seat. "Let's see how she handles tonight's special guest first." That guest would be MG Chen, my investment persona, supposedly arriving in an hour to inspect the restaurant before releasing the final funding installment. Monica had never connected her husband's budget sister to the mysterious investor who'd backed her dream project. "Her books are a mess," Jacob reported as we drove to my office to change. "She spent 3 times the approved budget on decorations alone. The chef's menu is solid, but she's insisted on adding gold leaf to everything." I sighed, thinking of the original business proposal that had caught my interest, a farm-to-table concept celebrating local immigrants' culinary heritage. Somewhere between approval and execution, Monica had transformed it into yet another overpriced temple to excess. "The staff seems miserable," I noted, having quietly observed the preparations all week, especially the sous chef she inherited from their family's original restaurant. "Maria? She's brilliant, but Mrs. Monroe says her ethnic dishes don't fit the new upscale image." The irony was rich. Monica had married my brother James for his family's respected restaurant name, only to discover the Monroe fortune wasn't what she'd imagined. Now she was systematically dismantling everything that had made their original family restaurant successful, chasing some glossy magazine version of luxury. In my office overlooking Central Park, I changed into the outfit Monica would consider appropriate, a Valentino dress and Louboutins I kept for investor meetings, the same labels she'd mocked as obvious fakes when I'd worn them to her wedding. "The latest numbers." Jacob handed me a tablet as we headed back downtown. "She's running at 40% over budget, mainly on cosmetic upgrades. The kitchen equipment fund was reallocated to import Italian marble for the bar." "Which explains why Maria's still using the old ovens," I muttered. The sous chef had practically raised my brother and me, feeding us authentic Chinese dishes in the family restaurant's kitchen after our parents died. Now Monica had relegated her to prep work, claiming her cooking was too ethnic for the new concept. The restaurant's entrance was now crowded with photographers. Monica had promised exclusive access to MG Chen's first public appearance. She'd built quite a mythology around her mysterious backer, hinting at old money and international connections. Ready to disappoint her? Jacob grinned, adjusting his tie. "Oh, I don't think I'll disappoint her at all," I smiled. "I think I'm going to exceed her expectations spectacularly." We entered through the VIP door, bypassing a hostess who'd removed me earlier. Monica rushed over, champagne in hand, then froze when she recognized me. "What are you? How did you get in?" "Security." "Mrs. Monroe," Jacob intervened smoothly, "may I present MJ Chen, majority shareholder of Maison Monroe and owner of this building." The champagne flute slipped from her fingers, shattering on her precious imported marble. Around us, conversations hushed as Manhattan's elite turned to watch the drama unfold. "This is a joke," Monica laughed nervously. "MJ Chen is standing right here." I finished pulling out my investor ID. "Though an hour ago, you had me removed for looking too budget for your establishment." But you're just James's sister. The one who works in finance or whatever." "Private equity, actually. Specifically, restaurant investment." I accepted a fresh champagne from a wide-eyed server. "Shall we discuss your creative reallocation of the kitchen equipment fund, or your interesting interpretation of our original concept?" The color drained from her perfectly bronzed face. "I can explain." "Oh, I hope so." I gestured to Jacob. "Shall we audit the books now, or would you prefer to wait until after your guests leave?" "Please," she whispered, "not here. You're embarrassing me." "Embarrassing you?" I sipped my champagne. "Like you embarrassed Maria by rejecting her award-winning dishes, or like you embarrassed the local farmers we contracted by canceling their orders in favor of overpriced imports." Around us, the influential crowd openly stared. Monica lived for their approval, having built her entire persona on being their arbiter of taste and class. "The kitchen," she managed. We should talk in the kitchen. We found Maria there, expertly managing the chaos of opening night despite her outdated equipment. Her eyes widened when she saw me, then crinkled with understanding. Ah, she smiled. So the little girl I taught to make dumplings grew up to own restaurants. Just this one, Auntie Maria. I hugged her, ignoring Monica's horrified expression at such informal behavior. Though I'm thinking it needs some management changes. You can't? Monica protested. The Monroe name belongs to James, who signed off on my investment specifically because he trusted me to protect his family's legacy. I turned to Maria. How would you like to be executive chef? With a budget for proper equipment and full creative control. You let me cook real food. Maria's eyes shone. Not just overpriced basics with gold leaf. Gold leaf won't fill hearts or stomachs, I said in Mandarin, repeating her old wisdom back to her. Real luxury is in the love we put into our work. This is ridiculous, Monica snapped. You can't just change everything. I'm the face of this restaurant. A face that just banned its owner for not looking expensive enough. Jacob noted dryly. Interesting marketing strategy. I picked up a sample of Monica's new menu with its $400 gold-leafed pasta and $200 designer cocktails. You have two choices. Either we return to the original concept, authentic, accessible, respectful of our culinary heritage, or I pull my investment and sell this building to the developers who've been courting me. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I met her gaze steadily. You married into the Monroe family thinking you found a shortcut to success. But real value isn't in gold leaf or marble bars. It's in the authenticity my brother and I learned in this kitchen, watching Maria cook with love and wisdom. The dinner service was starting. Through the kitchen doors, we could hear the guests growing restless. Your choice, Monica. I checked my watch. Should I announce the closure now, or would you like to discuss a new direction? Sometimes the most expensive lessons come free, served with a side of humble pie. And sometimes the best revenge isn't in grand revelations, but in quiet course corrections that restore things to their proper order. Maria, I called as Monica stood speechless. What do you say we show these people what real luxury tastes like? The old chef smiled, already reaching for her secret spice blend. About time someone remembered what matters most is not how food looks on Instagram, but how it feels in the heart. The transformation of Maison Monroe began that very night. While Monica retreated to her office to process, I asked Jacob to distribute new menus, Maria's original concept, printed on the back of Monica's gold foil versions. Ladies and gentlemen, I address the crowd. Tonight you'll be among the first to experience something truly exclusive, authenticity. The wealthy diners watched, intrigued, as Maria's staff wheeled out dim sum carts between the imported Italian marble tables. The $400 gold leaf pasta was replaced by her legendary hand-pulled noodles, each bowl telling a story of tradition and craft. This is, a prominent food critic paused, chopsticks halfway to his mouth, extraordinary. The depth of flavor, the technique. Who is your chef? The same chef who's been feeding the Monroe family for 30 years. I smiled, watching Maria work her magic in the now open kitchen. Though until today she was deemed too ethnic for our modern image. Word spread quickly through Manhattan's restaurant scene. By midnight, social media was buzzing, not with photos of gold leaf garnishes, but with videos of Maria demonstrating the art of noodle pulling. The city's top chefs, many of whom had trained under her years ago, began arriving after their own services ended. You've ruined everything. Monica emerged from her office, mascara slightly smeared. This was supposed to be sophisticated, exclusive. Look around, I gestured to the packed dining room, where CEOs and celebrities happily ate with their hands, following Maria's instructions on how to properly wrap Peking duck. When was the last time you saw Manhattan's elite-looking Miss genuinely happy? The restaurant's original investors were particularly pleased. They'd backed Monica based on her promise of exclusive luxury, but were now watching their investment transform into something far more valuable, authenticity. Your brother called, Jacob murmured, showing me his phone. He's watching the social media coverage. James had been quietly supportive of my investment, knowing I protect his family's culinary heritage. Now he was texting, finally, tell Maria to save me some of her red braised pork. And maybe it's time I came back to the kitchen. We're not a cheap takeout place, Monica protested, overhearing. James can't jest. James is a Michelin-starred chef who trained under Maria for 20 years, I interrupted, before you convinced him that running trendy restaurants was more important than cooking with heart. The night's receipts told their own story. Despite lower prices than Monica's proposed menu, we'd done record business. More importantly, we booked solid reservations for the next month, with top chefs and food critics eager to rediscover Maria's legendary cooking. But the investors, Monica tried one last time, are thrilled, a voice cut in. Thomas Chang, our biggest backer besides myself, had arrived after hearing about the change. This is what we wanted, not another soulless expense account menu, but real food with real heritage. And real talent, added his wife, watching Maria train a young line cook in the art of dumpling pleating. Do you know how long we've been trying to get Maria to open her own place? Monica sank into a chair, her designer dress crumpling. I don't understand. Everything I planned, everything I spent, was trying to buy something that only comes from authenticity, I said gently. Real class isn't about gold leaf and imported marble. It's about respecting tradition, honoring craft, and treating every guest like family. The last customers lingered until 2 a.m., helping Maria fold dumplings and learning the stories behind each dish. Even the kitchen staff stayed, energized by the return to real cooking instead of merely assembling overpriced ingredients. Tomorrow, I announced to the team, we renovate. The marble bar becomes a dim sum counter. The VIP room becomes a teaching kitchen, and every piece of equipment Maria needs gets ordered immediately. But the aesthetic, Monica began, will be authentic, I finished. No more pretending to be something we're not. This restaurant was built on immigrant stories and family traditions. It's time to celebrate that. The staff broke into spontaneous applause. Many had worked for the Monroe family for years, watching sadly as their proud culinary heritage was stripped away in favor of trendy minimalism. You have a choice, Monica, I told my sister-in-law quietly. You can either learn from Maria, understand what makes food truly special, or you can step away. But you can't keep pretending that exclusivity is more important than excellence. She stared at the scene before her. Manhattan's elite happily wearing paper bibs to eat clay pot rice, billionaires learning to use chopsticks from patient servers, celebrated chefs taking notes as Maria demonstrated traditional techniques. She looked lost, her carefully constructed world of surface sophistication crumbling. I don't know how to be part of this. Start by listening, I suggested. Not to social media trends or fashion magazines, but to the stories in this kitchen. Learn why James fell in love with cooking here. Understand what really makes food luxury. As if on cue, Maria appeared with a bowl of red braised pork, the same dish she'd made the night our parents died, when two scared children found comfort in her kitchen. Eat, she told Monica firmly. Then we talk about real value. Sometimes the most exclusive things can't be bought with gold leaf or imported marble. Sometimes they're served in simple bowls, seasoned with history and tradition, and garnished with the wisdom of those who cook from the heart. Tomorrow, I announced to our remaining guests, Maison Monroe becomes simply Monrose again. Come hungry for food that feeds both body and soul. The appreciative murmur told me we'd made the right choice. Real luxury, after all, isn't about keeping people out. It's about welcoming them in to share something genuine. 6 months later, Monrose had become Manhattan's most difficult reservation to secure, not because of artificial exclusivity, but because everyone wanted to be part of its authentic experience. The marble bar had been replaced by a bustling dim sum counter, where CEOs happily queued alongside local residents for Maria's legendary dumplings. The biggest surprise wasn't the restaurant's success, but Monica's transformation. After that first night of reckoning, she'd done something unexpected. She asked Maria to teach her everything, starting from the basics. No shortcuts, Maria had insisted. You learn like family, from the ground up. Now, on a busy Saturday morning, I watched my sister-in-law expertly pleat dumplings alongside Maria, her designer clothes replaced by a standard chef's uniform, her perfectly manicured nails trimmed short for kitchen work. The secret, she was explaining to a group of culinary students, isn't in expensive ingredients. It's in understanding the story behind each dish, the tradition in every technique. James had returned to the kitchen too, working alongside his wife instead of managing trendy restaurants. Together, they were creating new dishes that honored both tradition and innovation. Remember when she wanted to put gold leaf on everything? Jacob mused, reviewing our latest numbers. Now she's teaching authenticity to the same socialites who used to follow her trend setting. The restaurant's Instagram, once full of artificial glamour shots, now showcased behind-the-scenes videos of Maria teaching traditional techniques, Monica learning from veteran staff, and James rediscovering his passion for real cooking. Today's special guest. I checked my calendar. That food critic who called us too ethnic last year, Jacob grinned. He's here to apologize and learn how to make proper hand-pulled noodles. The teaching kitchen, formerly the VIP room, had become a celebrated venue where renowned chefs came to learn from Maria. More importantly, it provided free culinary training to immigrant cooks and underprivileged youth. Miss Chen, a young trainee, approached nervously. Mrs. Monroe says you should come taste the new dish she and Chef Maria created. In the kitchen, Monica and Maria stood over a steaming pot of what looked like traditional red braised pork, but with a subtle twist. We added black vinegar and 5 spice to your mother's recipe, Monica explained, suddenly shy. Maria thought, well, we thought it might honor both traditions. If you approve? I tasted the dish, recognizing the familiar comfort of Maria's cooking enhanced by new depths of flavor. It's perfect, I said, watching my sister-in-law's face light up with genuine pride, not in a dish's presentation or price point, but in its ability to tell a story through food. We're calling it family heritage, James added, wrapping an arm around his wife, because that's what this place is really about. The kitchen staff, once divided between old-timers and Monica's trendy hires, had become a true family. Veterans taught newcomers traditional techniques, while younger cooks introduced fresh perspectives. Every dish that left the kitchen carried both history and hope. Your next investment project called again, Jacob reminded me. That molecular gastronomy concept in Soho. Tell him to come eat here first, I smiled, watching Monica patiently teach a young cook the proper way to season a wok. Some lessons are best learned through example. The evening service began with our new tradition, family meal, where staff and owners ate together, sharing stories and dishes from their various backgrounds. Monica, who once wouldn't be caught dead eating with the help, now led these gatherings, eager to learn from every culture represented in our kitchen. You know, she said quietly as we finished our meal, I used to think luxury meant keeping people out. Now I understand it's about welcoming them in. Through the dining room windows, I could see the line forming, not just wealthy patrons, but students, locals, and food lovers of all backgrounds, drawn by the promise of authenticity. Should we save a VIP table? Jacob teased, remembering Monica's old policies. Every table is VIP, she replied firmly, because every guest is family. Sometimes the most valuable transformations happen not through grand gestures, but through small, daily acts of humility and learning. And sometimes the best revenge isn't in proving someone wrong, but in helping them find a better way to be right. Ready for service? Maria called out. Monica straightened her chef's jacket, no longer concerned with looking expensive or exclusive. Ready, Auntie. Let's feed our family. And as the doors opened and the first guests arrived, I watched my sister-in-law greet them with genuine warmth, finally understanding that true luxury isn't about gold leaf or marble bars. It's about creating something authentic enough to share.